The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. Lovecraft, an American writer, author of horror and fantasy novels, and creator of the Cthulhu mythology, knew well how to evoke unease, or even fear, in his readers. Among other reasons, he believed it to be one of the most primal human emotions. Let us take a closer look at the life and works of one of the most popular authors of horror tales. In the opening paragraph of The Call of Cthulhu, we read a crucial thought for his work. The most merciful thing in the world, I think, is the inability of the human mind to correlate all its contents. We live on a placid island of ignorance in the midst of black seas of infinity, and it was not meant that we should voyage far. The sciences, each straining in its own direction, have hitherto harmed us little. But someday the piecing together of dissociated knowledge will open up such terrifying vistas of reality, and of our frightful position therein, that we shall either go mad from the revelation or flee from the light into the peace and safety of a new dark age. Lovecraft presents in this way a view of things that animated almost everything he wrote later. The human mind accidentally found itself in a universe that is indifferent to our species. We cannot fathom the nature of the cosmos or our place in it, and worse, the meaning of it all may not exist. The ultimate result of scientific inquiry could very well be that the universe is a lawless, primal chaos. And this is a disturbing vision that Lovecraft would grapple with throughout his life. Howard Phillips Lovecraft expanded the aspect of the unknown as a source of fear. The innovation of his approach lies in exploring new scientific realms where the possibility of new, unknown beings lurking among the stars. The vast, infinite cosmic abyss evokes overwhelming emotions that paralyze us. Alienation, a sense of insignificance in the face of the vastness of the universe, as well as fear, unease, and the madness that may result from them, are recurring themes in Lovecraft's work, which were not alien to him in real life. Lovecraft, born in 1890, was a restless, sickly boy. When he was 3 years old, his father was committed to a psychiatric institution after a psychotic episode, and later died of syphilis. His mother became overly protective, never letting her son out of her sight. Lovecraft's grandfather became a father figure to him, introducing him to classical literature, poetry, and strange tales, and ironically helping him overcome his fear of the dark. He became the center of his entire childhood universe. Lovecraft was a precocious youth. He recited poems at the age of 2, read at 3, and began writing his own tales at 7. He spent most of his time in his private library. At the age of 8, he discovered science, first chemistry and then astronomy. The latter had a significant influence on his future writings as he gained a sense of the vastness of the universe and the insignificance of humanity in the cosmos. Lovecraft's early life was shaped by his grandfather, 2 aunts, and his mother, with whom he probably formed the most enduring bond. His mother's sister, teacher Lillian Delora Clark, contributed to the formation of certain negative attitudes in the future writer, beliefs about his poor health, class snobbery, and racism. As a hypersensitive only child, he often felt unwell and suffered from frequent anxiety attacks. In school, Lovecraft excelled in all subjects except mathematics. In 1908, during high school, he experienced a nervous breakdown. He dropped out of school and remained self-taught for the rest of his life. After many years of severe mental illness, his mother Sarah moved to the same hospital where Lovecraft's father had been institutionalized, and where she ultimately died as well. Lovecraft once again experienced profound sadness and contemplated suicide. For most of his life, he lived in poverty, and most of his major works were published in cheap magazines, many of which remained virtually unknown. Lovecraft's health deteriorated, and after experiencing pain that rendered him physically unable to hold a pen, he visited a doctor who diagnosed him with cancer, which had already spread to his intestines. He remained in constant pain until his death in 1937. He likely died with the belief that his work would dissipate into nothingness. Fortunately, many of his friends recognized the value of his creativity and were determined to preserve it. During his lifetime, Lovecraft engaged in extensive correspondence with numerous individuals, ultimately becoming one of the most prolific letter writers of the century. It is estimated that he wrote nearly 100,000 letters during his lifetime. Today, he is regarded as one of the greatest writers of weird fiction the world has ever seen. What is the difference between horror and weird fiction? As Lovecraft himself put it, atmosphere, not action, is the great desideratum of weird fiction. Indeed, all that a wonder story can ever be is a vivid picture of a certain type of human mood. The moment it tries to be anything else, it becomes cheap, puerile, and unconvincing. Prime emphasis should be given to subtle suggestion, imperceptible hints and touches of selective associative detail which express shadings of moods and build up a vague illusion of the strange reality of the unreal. Lovecraft's stories don't really focus on character development, but rather on the surrounding phenomena and the emotions experienced in the face of the unknown. Lovecraft shifted the source of horror from traditional beliefs in vampires, ghosts, and demons to the vast and unfathomable abyss beyond space and time. According to him, compared to the infinitely small Earth and the existence of humanity, the universe is so enormous that from a cosmic perspective, human history, knowledge, religion, etc. are completely insignificant and devoid of meaning. Unlike anthropocentric philosophies that place humans at the center of importance, providing intellectual comfort to many, Lovecraft rejects the special value of man. This rejection of human value is crucial to cosmicism, a philosophy that focuses on the insignificance of the human race and its actions in the cosmos. In this view, the question of the meaning of life is better left unanswered. Cosmicism is a kind of extreme existentialism because it brings about uncertainty regarding the role of humanity itself in a ruthless universe, a crisis of existence on a gargantuan scale. Lovecraft emphasized in his works the fear of not just the unknown, but the unknowable. The fear we experience when confronted with phenomena beyond our comprehension, transcending the narrow realm of human affairs. Philosopher Rudolf Otto, in his book The Idea of the Holy, states that the dread responses of the body in contact with the supernatural and terrifying stories are of the same nature as the feeling of demonic fear that is the origin and basis of sacred awe. Therefore, horror literature, by creating such feelings, can tap into the primal religious fear within humans towards something greater than ourselves, something we cannot grasp. It evokes a sense of insignificance within us, as well as a mixture of horror and reverence for what transcends us. Lovecraft himself did not believe in the existence or survival of the soul after death. Consequently, the cosmos appeared to him as completely devoid of a spiritual element. As he expressed it, the absence of matter or any detectable form of energy implies the absence of spirit, not the presence of it. Lovecraft believed that there is a point at which we cannot cope with scientific discoveries. He believed that seeking the key to forbidden knowledge always leads to madness or death because it opens the doors to places we were never meant to traverse. When we don't know something, we create our own answer because we cannot bear the silence of emptiness. Scientific discoveries in Lovecraft's works are both fascinating and terrifying. He sees them not as potential enlightenment for humanity, but as the ultimate extermination of our species. Knowledge, in his opinion, is a self-destructive disease. In Lovecraft's works, the cosmos is filled with immensely powerful cosmic beings that evade our understanding. They are never the central point of the stories and rarely the cause of events, but they are always present, which is an essential element of cosmic horror. The best known among them is Cthulhu, the Great Old One, who lies dormant at the bottom of the Pacific, waiting for his awakening that will bring about the destruction of our world. However, the greatest among them are the so-called outer gods, existing beyond the boundaries of the world. Among these beings, it is worth to mention Azathoth, the all-powerful creator of existence, who is utterly mindless and unaware, yet omnipotent, and is the most powerful entity in the entire mythos. The whole reality is just a part of his dream, unknowingly created by him. He is a dreaming monstrosity in whose dream the universe resides. Countless lesser gods play mad melodies on innumerable drums and flutes to restrain Azathoth from awakening, because if he were to do it, all existence would cease to exist, and everything would be Azathoth once again. He embodies chaos and cannot be destroyed, as the concept of destruction is merely his dream, and he exists beyond all human conceptions. As one of the characters in Lovecraft's works puts it, "I shall never sleep calmly again when I think of the horrors that lurk ceaselessly behind life in time and in space." Lovecraft's world eludes all visualizations. We can only hint at its descriptions using our limited knowledge, which enhances the otherworldly nature of the unknown. If we were to be tormented by these entities, we would be powerless to resist them. We cannot perceive them unless they choose to enter our three-dimensional world. They observe our every move while we see nothing, completely at their mercy. Throughout his life, Lovecraft was also interested in dreams. He classified, developed, and took his own dreams very seriously. Many of his stories are products of his own dreams, and the unconsciousness from which they arose symbolizes the unknown. In Lovecraft's world, the dreamlands are windows to forbidden knowledge and forces beyond human comprehension, a vast, incredible, and incomprehensible dimension that can be accessed through dreams. For the writer, human beings are too feeble to shape a coherent picture of reality. Our minds are particles tossed in cosmic chaos. Though we seek secure foundations, we cannot find them. Lovecraft's anti-mythology reflected the unresolved struggle within himself. By rejecting any belief in meaning beyond the human world, he also rejected the meanings that people create for themselves. He had little interest in the lives of most people, and from an early age, it seems that he believed his own life would count for very little. However, let us note that at least in this point, he was clearly mistaken. Lovecraft's life and the literature that resulted from it hold an important place in the minds of many fans of fantasy and horror. It turns out that the world he painted is much larger and stranger than anything the human mind can contain. It can evoke not only fear and dread but also attract readers who immerse themselves in it. It gives a sense of excitement with its monstrous mysteries. And despite the smallness of humans and the vastness of the universe, they seem to be perpetually drawn to great and dangerous secrets waiting to be discovered. Whether these secrets will bring us enlightenment or madness, we have yet to find out. Many thanks to our patrons who allow us to cover more controversial topics. If you don't want to miss any future episodes, please allow notifications.